Oh, hey there! Welcome back on this fine spring day. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with a new Colourpop collection. I feel like I have done so many Colourpop videos recently, not sponsored, not even on their PR list. Actually, fun fact, Colourpop was the first PR list I was ever on, and also the first one I was ever kicked off of. I am having the most wild deja vu sitting down to film this intro right now. I remember saying all of this on camera already once. What is happening? Colourpop came out with a Disney villains collection, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. When I first saw it, I was like, because I just, for some reason, just wasn't super attracted to it when I saw it online. But the other day I went into Ulta and Matt was with me. Matt is my husband, for those of you who don't know that. And he looked at the display, weirdly enough, because he never really comments on makeup when we're out and about. And he was like, ooh, look at this Disney villain thing from Colourpop. And I was like, eh. And then when I went over and I started like playing with it, I'm swatching it, I was drawn in. They sucked me. They got me. So there were collections, like little box sets based on a different villain for each one. And then there was also the misunderstood eyeshadow palette based on the theme of Disney villains in general. And I also picked up the Cruella box set. So for the first look, I will pair the eyeshadow look with the items from the Cruella box set. So if you were like kind of looking at that one, you wanted to know what it was like on the face, you can sort of see what it looks like on me. There were a couple of other items that came out with this collection too, but I chose not to purchase those for a couple of reasons. They had the glitter body gels that come in the little pots. I have reviewed those before and I think they're very pretty, but I don't see any purpose in buying those if I can't include them in a look, and it's very difficult to include them in a look because they're not eye safe, so I chose to skip those. And the other items were Jelly Much shadows. I have reviewed the Jelly Much shadows before and I didn't have much luck with how they wear on me. If you want to see that review, I'll link it here on the screen. Don't forget to come back and watch the rest of this video though, because it's still really early and you're gonna miss the whole thing if you leave now. So like maybe, I don't know, open it in another tab, you know what I mean? But I chose to skip out on those because I know that they don't necessarily work for me and I can point you guys in the direction of a review that I've already done. Once I got the palette and I started thinking of ideas, my first instinct was to try to recreate the villains that I like, in particular, like their makeup from the cartoon versions of the movies. But upon further investigation, pretty much every single female Disney villain has a purple and blue and or green cut crease and red lipstick. Like literally every single one. I swear to God, I'm pretty sure they invented the cut crease. I don't know if that's true. I'm actually not sure. I have no idea who invented the cut crease, but like they were drawing on a cut crease in 1959 for Sleeping Beauty. That's crazy. So that was not an option anymore. So what I decided to do was pick my 3 favorite villains from the movies that I remember watching growing up as a kid. I'm doing a look that's like kind of based on their vibe, you know? So I'm gonna do a Cruella look first. Second, I'm gonna do a Maleficent. And then third, I'm going to do Ursula the Sea Witch. I'm just trying to capture the general feel of like what their aesthetic was. That might be the most Tumblr thing I ever said. As I usually do with these types of videos, because they tend to be on the longer side, I will timestamp each look down below if you want to jump ahead to a certain one. And I will also timestamp my kind of little final thoughts or wrap up at the end if you're more looking for a review of the items. Before we jump into the first look, please take a second to leave a little like on this video if you don't mind taking a second, because it is very helpful to me. And if you are new here, perhaps you have browsed through a few of my videos and you just haven't made that decision to commit to hanging out with me all the time yet. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I would love to have you around for more videos. And quite frankly, if you don't, it's so mean. It's so mean. It's not mean. It's okay. You don't have to, but if you would like to, I would like to have you around. We've got quite a few villainous looks to get through today, so I'm gonna zip it and we can just jump right in and get started on the first Cruella inspired makeup look. Okay, for the first look, I'm gonna start with the shade Tragic, which is right here. It's a little bit deeper than my skin tone, but not by much, so it should make for like a very easy transition color that'll just kind of give us something to blend out mattes into, because I'm going to be using a lot of mattes. And I'm doing that with a MAC 217 brush. And I'm gonna blend the edge of that with a clean blending brush. This is a Sigma E40. Also, I just want to mention I did some faux freckles on my skin before we started this look because I just felt like it went with the 101 Dalmatians vibe. And this first look is Cruella inspired, so there you go. I'm gonna go into the color 101. On a MAC 221S brush, this is just like a very small crease brush. And I'm gonna pack that color onto the outer corner first. And I'm kind of giving that like a bit of a round shape for now at the end here, but I think I'm gonna sweep that out into a little bit of a different shape after. Also placing that on the inner corner as well. So far that color is extremely pigmented, very, very easy to work with and very easy to get even. So we like that. I'm gonna take a Sigma E36 brush and I'm gonna go into that same color. This is a very similar shape to the MAC 221S, but it's a little smaller. So I'm gonna use that to put it through the crease area so that it doesn't spread too high up. So far, this is a really, really impressive black or off black shade. I'm gonna pick up the MAC 217 that I started with and just start to blend the edge of that. Pick up that tiny little crease brush again, and toward the outer corner, I'm gonna start to flick it out into more of a V shape. I'm not picking up any more color on the brush, so that way it doesn't get like out of control. I'm just trying to kind of make the blend a different shape on the outer corner and not necessarily like bring it way up higher or like too far out. Just kind of softly building that out into a different shape. Now that we have that black shade down and I left most of the center space open, I'm going to fill that center space with the white shade that's in here called No Spots. So I'm patting that white onto the center of my lid. That white is also performing really, really well so far. So easy to use, really, really pigmented. I'm gonna go back into 101 on the same Sigma E36 brush, and I'm just gonna go back through the crease and make sure that that's still reading as a black. Okay, the top's not quite done yet, but I'm gonna move on to the bottom lash line just for a second. I'm gonna brighten up my waterline with the Benefit Roller Eye Bright. And I'm gonna smudge under my lower lashes with the Urban Decay Perversion Liner Pencil just to give a nice rich base for the next color we're about to put down. Sort of tapering it a little bit as we get into the center and blending that edge of that out real quick with a small brush. This is a Luxe 121 Mini. Now with that black down, I'm gonna go into the shade Revenge here, which is also a black shade, but this one has some glitter, and I'm gonna use that on a pencil brush. And I'm gonna run that over the area where I just put that pencil down. I take a little bit of Revenge and pop that on the outer corner and go back and blend that into the white with my flat brush. Okay, now that that's all done, I'm gonna add some little Dalmatian spots to the white portion of the eyes. I know that the Dalmatian spot idea was already kind of being reflected in the freckles, which by the way, I got some fallout down here and I'm gonna have to redo my concealer a little bit. So the freckles are going to need to get a little bit of help after we finish here, just FYI, little tiny bit of fallout with these shades. Aside from that, I'm really, really blown away by how good they are. So I'm gonna grab my KVD Dagger Liner and I'm just gonna start creating some little spots right on the white portion of the lid. I feel like you can't have a Cruella de Vil look without little Dalmatian spots, because like the whole premise of the movie was that she was like trying to steal their cute little spots off their cute little baby skin on their cute little chubby baby bodies. I'm gonna go finish off the eyes with some lashes and mascara. I'm gonna clean up my little under eye area and my freckles a bit, and then we will move on to the lip and the highlight. Okay, wait, no, I spoke too soon. I want to do an inner corner highlight, but just like a little bit of one. So I'm gonna go into the shade Mongrels on a little Real Techniques detail brush, and I'm just gonna pop that on the inner corner on the lower portion of the lash line. I wanna bring it up on the top because I don't want to interrupt that shape that we created, but I do wanna like just add a little pop of shine right there. Okay, now lashes and mascara. BRB. All right, I added the House of Lashes Iconic Light Lashes, and I used the MAC Extended Play Pro Up Mascara, and now it is time to dip into the actual little Cruella kit. This is the highlight in the color You Idiot, You Fools, You Imbeciles. It looks like mine kind of sunk down from sitting on the display. If you've never used a Super Shock highlights before, they are very, very soft and like squishy. So this isn't necessarily unusable and broken. It just kind of sunk down and like crumbled upon itself. If I push this back into the pan, it'll be fine. They have like a squishy, sort of a spongy texture. It's a little annoying. I'd prefer I hadn't done that. There's a lot of construction going on outside of my house right now, and I hope you can't hear it. I mean, I'm doing important eyeshadow in here, guys. You mind? In my experience, the Super Shock highlights are best applied with your fingers. And then sometimes I like to blend it out with a brush after. So I'm just gonna start by applying that with my finger on the cheek. This is like a very, it almost has some glitter to it, this highlight, and it is kind of gold with a pinkish shift. It reminds me a bit of a more glittery version of Kat Von D Thunderstruck eyeshadow, which I have always loved as a highlight personally. I think I definitely overdid it with my contour today, but you know what? It's Disney Villains Day, and if there's ever a time to overdo it with your contour, it's now. The other two items in the kit are the lipstick in the color Cruella, which is kind of like this bright orange red shade. It looks a little bit more red on camera. In person, it's giving me more orangey vibes. And this ultra glossy lip in the shade Puppies, which looks so pretty. I kind of want to wear it on its own, but I think this whole look will come together with the orangey red lip with the gloss over the top and the whole thing. It's gonna give us real Cruella vibes, so that's what I'm doing for this look, but I might switch to just this later to go live my life, just full disclosure. And this is the first Cruella de Vil inspired look. For the second look, I don't have such a literal interpretation of a specific character that I want to go for, but I kind of want to like toy around with the image of Maleficent a little bit. So we're gonna go with some greens and some golds, because in the original cartoon, her skin is green and her eyes are like bright yellow, which is odd, but it's a color combo. To start, I'm gonna go into this shade Devious on a BH number 5 brush, and I'm gonna put that in my crease. Next, I'm gonna take the color Facile, picking that up on a Real Techniques shading brush and wetting that with a little bit of Fix Plus. I'm going to pop that on the outer portion and the inner portion of the lid. I'll like deepen it up in a second, but I just wanna get this greenness down first. Next, I'm picking up my Sigma E30 pencil brush, and I'm gonna go into 101, and I'm gonna put that right on the very edge of the outer corner. And on a Sigma E36, I'm gonna take the same color and I'm gonna bring it through the crease, but I'm gonna leave the center part out. So I'm just doing it over the areas where I put down the green. On the same brush, without even cleaning it, I'm picking up a little bit more of Devious, and I'm gonna start blending that through the crease as well, just to kind of give a little bit of a gradient. Next, I'm gonna pick up a clean Real Techniques shading brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Diablo. And what I like about this shade is that it's like a gold, but it has a little hint of a green in there too. And I'm going to, again, wet that with my Fix Plus. I just sprayed directly into my iced coffee. And I'm gonna put that right in the center of that look. I'm gonna pick up my Sigma E36 again, and I'm gonna go back into the color 101, and I'm just gonna use that to define my crease a little bit further. Before I move on to my lower lash line and conceal underneath my eyes, I want to do my liner, so that way if I rest my finger to do my liner, it doesn't mess up what I got going on under there. Little pro tip. I'm gonna do a half liner with an extended inner corner, which I have been doing kind of when I wear my makeup really plain lately, because I watched this tutorial from Crystal Lindy, who I have been loving here on YouTube, and she did this tutorial on that liner shape, and I was like, ooh, I fucking love that. So that's what I've been doing a lot, and I'm gonna do it with this look today. It kind of loses its effect a little bit when you put it with like a heavy eyeshadow. I like the way it looks on its own a little bit more, but the shape of it is still very like, ooh, fierce, you know, which kind of lends itself to the whole Disney villain vibe. But it's also really great if you have like a semi-hooded or a hooded lid, because it allows your liner to show in ways that it wouldn't otherwise. So what I did was use my KVD Dagger Liner to do the more intricate part of the shape. And I went ahead and filled the whole thing in with Benefit Roller Liner because roller liner is very matte. It also covers really well over shimmery eyeshadows. So that combination is ideal for this type of a look. I'm gonna go try to replicate this on the other eye and clean up with some concealer and then we'll move on. So for the lower part of the eye, I want to keep it pretty open because that sort of continues this shape that we've got going on. So I'm going to brighten up the waterline with my Benefit Roller Eye Bright. I really want to keep most of the attention of this eye look on the top. So I'm going to sweep away the powder I put under my eyes. I'm going to pick up my Luxe 111 mini brush and go into the shade Devious. And I'm just gonna run that under my lower lash line and bring that out underneath the wing and pretty much all the way into the inner corner, but tapering it a little bit so it's thinner, and we're gonna blend it out. And just softening that with a clean blending brush. I'm gonna add some mascara and some lashes and we will move on to the rest of the look. I added the House of Lashes Stella Luxe Lash. This pair is a little bit more trimmed than my regular pair, so I cut off a little bit extra from the longer end. And when I placed them, I purposely avoided the inner corner so that it kept the shape of that liner. You could totally just do your lashes regular if you wanted, but I wanted to make sure that that shape was like Now for the lips, I want to do something a little bit more simple because I want to keep the focus on the eyes here. But if you really are trying to go for like a Disney villain-esque kind of a thing, you could totally pair this with a matte red. Oh my God, Fenty Stunna Lip Paint and Uncensored with this would be... I'm gonna use the same Puppies lip gloss that I used from the Cruella set yesterday, or in the first look, because you don't know that I filmed the first look a day ago. Behind the scenes information for you there. But I'm going to fill my lips first with the Nabla Touch Me lip liner to give myself a nice nude base to make sure my lips are nice and defined. And then I'm gonna top it with this and it'll give us a delicious glossy nude. And this is the second, more Maleficent-ish inspired look. All right, look number 3, we are going for Ursula vibes today. Fun fact, when I was a kid, The Little Mermaid was my absolute favorite. I loved that movie. I wanted to be Ariel. I wanted to have boobs just so I could wear a clamshell bra. You know, when I grew boobs, I never got a clamshell bra. And now I feel like maybe I missed an opportunity. I might buy a clamshell bra. So to start this look, I'm going to go into this blue called The Fates on my BH number 5 brush, and I'm gonna start putting that in the crease area. I'm gonna start by putting that in the crease area. I'm not gonna use a transition shade with this. That might be a mistake, but we'll find out. Okay, the color of this blue is really nice. It reminds me of phthalo blue, which is a paint color. If you guys have ever done like painting classes or anything, I swear phthalo blue is like the coolest shade. It looks just like this and I'm like all geeked over it. I'm gonna take my MAC 221S brush and blend the edge of that. It's blending really nicely on its own, so I'm not mad that I didn't put down a transition shade. Just going back into the center portion of it and darkening it up a bit more again. I got more on my lid than I would like to, but we're gonna like kind of cut the crease, I think, anyway. That's part of my plan. I figure I couldn't do a Disney villains 3-look video without at least doing one cut crease. So now that that blue's down, I'm gonna start putting a little bit of color on the lid area. I'm gonna start by going into the shade Sing because we would be remiss to not use that shade for our Ursula look. And I'm picking that up on this Luxe 111 mini brush and I'm going to wet that with some Fix Plus. And I'm going to dab that on the outer corner of the lid. Those two colors look crazy together right now, but it's all gonna come together and make sense in just a moment. On my Sigma E36 brush, I'm gonna go into the color 101. And I'm gonna put that where those two meet in the crease. Next, I'm gonna pick up my Nabla Cosmetics Cut Crease brush. You could use any flat brush, but this one is particularly really good. I'm going to go into the Kat Von D Brow Pomade in the shade White Out. You could use pretty much any light concealer, any white cream shadow that you want to use. Personally, I find using something long wearing like this just wears better than using a concealer because I have greasy, creasy lids. And I'm just going to take that and I'm going to stamp out a shape coming from the inner corner. Something I find helpful when you're trying to do a cut crease is to not work with your eye all the way closed, so that way you can see where it sits when your eye is open, because your eye is going to be open most of the time that you're wearing whatever look you're doing. And then when that shape is what I want it to be, I go back in with a little bit of a heavier hand and less precision and just cut out the rest of it with the white base. I just realized I did a whole ass step and I wasn't recording. So let me take you back for a moment. What I did on this eye, I'll show you on this one. I went into the color Jetsam on a MAC 221 brush and I picked some of that up and then wet it with some Fix Plus. From where I put down the color Sing, I'm gonna start overlapping it there and I'm gonna pack it from my lash line and go up. And I'm not bringing that all the way up to the top of the crease. I'm gonna leave a little bit of white peeking out there because I want that to be a different color. Back to my good eye. I'm gonna go into this shade Forest of Thorns on a pencil brush. Again, I'm gonna wet that with some MAC Fix Plus. And where we left off with Jetsam is where I'm gonna start packing that down. And again, I'm starting from my lash line and going upward. I'm switching to a Real Techniques detail brush and I'm going to use that to bring that shade all the way up to the top of where we put down the white and then drag it out over where we put those other two shades. And I cleaned up the same pencil brush and now I am going to go into the shade Flotsam, which is another color shifting shade, but this is like a pinkish lavender and has a little bit of like a bluish shift in there. And I'm gonna put that where we have white remaining still. And on the same Real Techniques detail brush, I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that shade. I'm going to wet it and I'm going to drag it along the entire top of where we put down the white to cut that crease, just to kind of highlight it, and that'll differentiate from where the actual crease color starts and make it a little bit more like pop, 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 pop. Okay, I went ahead and cleaned up unter mein Augen, as they say in German. That was probably wrong. I haven't practiced my German in a long time, but I cleaned up underneath my eyes with some concealer. I put a bunch of powder down so that we can do a little bit of like a smoked out lower lash line. On a pencil brush, I'm gonna go back into the shade The Fates, and I am going to bring that underneath my lower lash line and bring it around to connect it into the top. This didn't even really occur to me as I was using this shade because like it was just kind of going along swimmingly, and it didn't even really settle in that I'm using a dark matte blue, which is usually really difficult to work with, and this is just blending like a dream and it's so easy to work with. I'm getting no patchiness whatsoever. Yeah, this is a really good matte blue. I'm gonna grab a clean-ish blending brush and just tickle the edge of that out. I'm gonna go into the shade Mongrels. On a little tiny pencil brush, I'm just gonna put that underneath the inner corner and blend that into where we ended the blue. I'm also gonna bring a little bit up into the top portion of the inner corner to just brighten that up, because that shade that we used is very pretty, but it doesn't quite create an inner corner highlight like this one does. For the waterline, I want to do like a little bit of like a denim blue sort of a shade, and the only denim-y kind of a blue that I have is actually a lip liner from Colourpop called whatchamacallit. So I'm gonna break the rules and use that in my waterline. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this eye, finish up my skin, add some lashes, and then move on to the lip. All right, I threw on the House of Lashes Stella Luxe, and before I put my lipstick on, I am going to fill in one of my moles, because Ursula has a fat mole, like a big, nice one that's underneath her lip. I only have moles above my lips, so I'm just gonna fill in the ones that I have, because we're just gonna pay tribute to Ursula rocking her mole and making it sexy. There's one little one right here, right above my lip. So for this look, Ursula obviously had a really, really bold red lip, but I wanted to switch it up a little bit since we already did a red lip in this video. So I'm going to line my lips with the Colourpop pencil in the color Oh Sis. And I'm gonna fill the center in to create a little bit of like a pinky nude ombre with the Patrick Star MAC lipstick in She Better Work. And this is the third, more Ursula inspired look. Okay, so after doing the 3 looks, I am just gonna come out and say it first and foremost before we get into anything else. This palette is fire as far as the quality is concerned. There are a few shades in here that I think could have been a little bit more fun and interesting. Like, I think Forest of Thorns would have been a little bit more special if they had made it like super glittery like some of the other ones in here. And I would have liked to see like maybe one more interesting matte shade, because that blue matte called the Fates was so good. If there were 2 in this palette, it just would be delicious. But overall, the performance of these shadows was out of this world good. Like, so good. I always forget how good Colourpop shadows are for their price point until I pick up a new Colourpop palette and I'm like, oh shit, these are so good. This is no exception. I think the Fates might be one of the best dark matte blues I have ever used ever. Like I said, the only thing is I feel like maybe 1 or 2 of the shades could have been a little bit more exciting, but that's just personal preference, because a lot of you might be happy that there are some shades in there that are not like super over the top. So yeah. Overall, it's real good. The Cruella box set, on the other hand, I'm not sure. The highlighter, this color is absolutely beautiful, but I'm not like entirely sold on this highlight formula, for me anyway. I find that it is a little bit more difficult to work with because you really have to apply it with your fingers. That's the only way. And I'm not super crazy about the fact that mine was like squished down in the pan when I got it, and now it like kind of looks pretty gross already. I mean, obviously this is not something that happens every single time with these, but if you store them a little bit wrong, it does happen. I have other shades of this highlight formula that I have bought in the past, and similar things have happened to them if I set them on their sides. So I don't know. I don't think the little idiosyncrasies of how this formula works necessarily pay off in the end. I don't think that they give me that much of like a popping, beautiful, blinding highlight to warrant the strange formula. But then again, I know that some people swear by these highlighters, so I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe it just doesn't work on my skin that well, but I could definitely live without this. The Cruella lipstick is a beautiful shade, but it's just a cream lipstick. It's just a red cream lipstick. It performed really nicely, but it's nothing like mind-blowingly special. It's just a reddish orange lipstick. It's fine. And the ultra glossy lip in the color Puppies is of a very pretty shade, but I have to say that if I was going to choose a Colourpop lip gloss formula, I 100% hands down would choose the So Juicy gloss over the ultra glossy lip formula. I feel like it's thicker and glassier and just gives a nicer finish. This lip gloss is perfectly fine. It smells really nice. Like, it has like a really intense candy smell that I actually enjoy. If you don't like scented, you might not like that because it is very intense, but in general, I like their other lip glosses better. So overall, I don't think that I would repurchase the Cruella box set if I could go back in time and redo things, but it's not anything terrible. It's just I didn't find it very special. And if you're a fan in general of the Super Shock highlight formula, then you might absolutely love that highlighter. It's just one of those things that just doesn't work as well for me as it seems to for other people. As a matter of fact, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you like that formula because I would love to hear your experiences with it. Also, let me know if you have your eye on anything in particular in this collection. Do you want the eyeshadow palette because, oh my god, I think it's lovely? Are you interested in any of the items that I didn't buy to review? Let me know in a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Please don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, because that really helps me and I would really appreciate it. And also, if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe because I would love to have you around for more videos. If you want to keep up with me between videos, I'm at Miss Quinface on every other platform. I spend most of my social media time on Instagram, so come find me over there. I post all different types of more creative looks that don't really make their way to YouTube over there, and I do unboxings and behind the scenes and all sorts of stuff. I made date nut bread on my story the other day. It was a fun time, so come find me over there. I would love to have you around for that. That is all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.